You were inside the courtroom today. Can you just kind of summarize for me what happened?
I missed opening arguments. Opening arguments were this morning, but the first thing the prosecution did, I think it was Crabb, it was on the prosecution, laid out kind of the case, saying we're going to place this guy, this old guy with the beard, at the scene of the crime, and we're going to charge him with killing Christopher Stevens or inciting this mob. So his name's Khattala. And then the defense basically just said, that's peculiar, that's peculiar. That was in the morning. And then this afternoon was the presentation of the first witness. So first witness was a guy named Scott Wickland, W-I-C-K-L-A-N-D. He was part of the Diplomatic Security Services, or it's called DSS. These are the people that protect the Secretary of State. He had one detail where he had done that, protected Hillary. He went through he was assigned in San Francisco. He was sent over to Benghazi. I think he got there, I want to say August the 3rd. So when he got to the mission is not a consulate. It was not an embassy. It was a little mission close by where Ambassador Stevens came in on September the 10th. Okay, so they went and got him. He went through the whole testimony there, and then he went into what happened in the last hours of Christopher Stevens' life. Basically, there was this meeting with this Turkish diplomat. This Scott Wickland was saying, hey, we need to end this meeting, we need to end this meeting. And then about 8:30, he's sitting by the pool. Christopher Stevens turns in for the night. The other guy, Sean Smith, turns in for the night. And then the rest of the fireworks start happening after that.
And so my understanding is that partially at issue is the fact that the defendant didn't personally start the fire or didn't personally shoot anybody, but the prosecution is saying that he was a leader, that he kind of orchestrated the event. How did that come out today, and did it seem like the defense or the prosecution kind of had the stronger sense of what happened?
Well, this is just the presentation of the first piece of evidence, so the kind of the exhibit phase or the evidence presentation phase. So this first evidence is the state. The state presents first. Cross-examination will be tomorrow, where the defense will have a shot at that. I thought that the testimony of Wickland really fell down today because, especially around the key moment when he takes Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith into this safe room. This is a small safe room. Ambassador Stevens is to his right, and then Sean Smith's a little bit further to the right. And he's able to somehow, through this safe room, count 40 to 60 people coming into the embassy. Lights are on, he says, with automatic weapons, AK-47s and so forth, and FLAs, another type of automatic weapon. And he sees these guys, they're smashing things, all kinds of loud explosions going on, lots of smoke. He sees these guys somehow about ready to put grenades on the door, and he does the last rites to Stevens and Smith and says, hey, this may be it, we're going to die. Well, somehow they leave the door, they leave the house, the lights are on again, but then now all of a sudden it's very smoky. Can't even see the hand in front of his face. He's crawling on his belly, crawling on hands and knees with Ambassador Stevens, with Smith, to get to a bathroom which has an escape. Okay? Somehow in that 24 feet between the safe house and the bathroom, he loses Smith and Ambassador Stevens. Okay? He's calling back, he's yelling, he's so forth. And I could see it's a very emotional testimony where he's a protective service guy. He loses the ambassador and he loses the IT guy. But on the bathroom door, there's a very complicated set on the bathroom, there's a crank for the grate, the protective bars on the door. There's a pipe with a pin that needs to be put in it. There's 3 different security devices that have to be manipulated on this door. Well, if there's so much smoke you can't even find the ambassador, you can't even find the IT guy, which was holding your shirt a minute ago, but you're able to do all this complex series of things, I think the defense is going to go right at that tomorrow and say, how could this be? Because then moments later he says, I'm trying to signal my friends with this light, and I put it right up to my eye and I can't even see the light. It's just a dim little light. So it's smoky, then all of a sudden it's not smoky, and I can do all these manipulations. Now it's smoky again. So that my initial impression was the prosecution did not do a very good job today in presenting Wickland. And I don't believe Wickland I believe Wicklund was there. I believe that they were in the safe house, but I think Wicklund leaves for some reason and doesn't come back.
And so one of the fascinating aspects of this case is the fact that it's happening here at all, right? That for an international terror arrest, that he's not at Guantanamo Bay, he's not in some prison in Iraq or Libya or whatever, right? He's here facing trial in front of a jury of Washington, D.C. type people.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the significance of that? Is it sort of bizarre seeing a terror case taking place in a sort of normal civilian court like this?
Yeah, I think this is a show trial. I mean, definitely to say, okay, here somebody else did it. It wasn't the CIA. It wasn't somebody who left the door open. It wasn't planned by Petraeus. It wasn't orchestrated and practiced in Turkey. And then, this Turkish ambassador meeting with Stevens an hour before his death. It wasn't any of those things. It was this cab driver here that got excited, walked along with this crowd, and there we picked him out in this grainy footage of film. And they showed the footage in the film, and it's really kind of grainy. And yeah, maybe that's there because he's got the beard, but this is a kind of an old man. It doesn't look like he's the blind sheik or anything. But we'll see what the prosecution says. I'm just going on my initial impressions, which is, don't look over here, folks. These aren't the CIA droids you're looking for. It's over here. It's this cab driver. That's the guy who did it.
And so lastly, the media obviously can't be filming inside, right? So, you have a few sketch artists kind of painting a literal picture of what's going on, and then you have, the testimony people talking, such as yourself. Yeah. To people who weren't there but are interested in this story, what do you think the media is going to get wrong about this? How would you characterize the courtroom that people might miss without being able to witness it?
I think the media will buy this hook, line, and sinker. They're going to be writing about the brave last moments of Ambassador Stevens. Remember, since the movie, right, no testimony has ever been given. So it's the first time in history that you've actually heard real courtroom testimony about Benghazi, and I think they're going to write it up in red, white, and blue. Those last moments are going to be, great moments. But there's gaping holes in the testimony. I'm just saying, as an attorney, I'm not an attorney, but you would go right at that and say it's smoky, then it's not, then it is. I mean, what's going on?